Hello, everybody. Revolver Guy, prepping for poor people. Just sitting outside today, enjoying the beautiful weather. Want to do a little video about some things that have been going on here lately. I haven't had a chance to do a lot of videos. I tell you, I've been so busy between prepping and getting the garden in. I've been getting corn and started digging potatoes. And of course, my daughter, she'd be my second oldest daughter. She still lives at home, but she's just about ready to have a baby, so I've been getting a room together for her for that. So it's been a really busy time here at my little homestead. But I wanted to get into a little subject today about all the things been going on, kind of as a whole. I mean, it's just these times are just unbelievable. I tell you, this whole Epstein thing and him committing suicide or whatever it was he did. I'm not a real big conspiracy theorist on that. As many of you may know, I've worked in prisons my whole life. And I can tell you it's not unusual for an inmate, even a high-profile inmate, to be on suicide watch for a couple of days and then be taken off suicide watch. That happens all the time. When somebody's on suicide watch in prison, they are pretty much in a cell with nothing but a mattress and what they call a suicide smock. It's just a real thick blanket that can't be torn. And they're usually in there with nothing else. And most time, a couple of days, all that lasts, unless they're doing something really crazy, like ramming their head in the wall or something like that. So for him to be on suicide watch and then come off of it is not unheard of at all. For the cameras not to be working, that's actually not unheard of either. They say, well, some of the guards, they call them, weren't doing their rounds like they're supposed to. That's not unheard of either. I'm sorry to tell you. And it happens because, for the most part, prisons are so short-staffed. And they just don't have the manpower to do the job like it needs to be done. Quite honestly, people don't want to spend that kind of money on prisoners and criminals. And why should we? I've worked in my whole life, and we are short-handed, and we're always needing help, and usually don't have enough help to get the job done. At least not the way it's supposed to be done. So I'm an advocate for us getting more money and more help to do a better job. But the general public as a whole does not want to spend money on criminals, and quite frankly, I can't blame them. I'd rather spend the money on our children or something. But, hold on just a second. Sorry about that. So anyway, like I said, I don't know what happened there. But I'm not going to be a real big conspiracy theorist on that. What he did is not unheard of, especially a man that rich knowing he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Very, very good chance that he was going to kill himself at some point. In order to have gotten to him and had him murdered, it would have took very, very powerful people, no doubt about that. And there's so many people involved in it that it'd be very, very hard to keep that covered up. So I know I saw today, I was reading an article about where he had some broken bones in his neck, and that can come from both strangulation and hanging. So I guess it remains to be seen. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if they concluded a suicide, and I won't be one of the ones screaming out conspiracy, they had him killed. They may have. I would never say they didn't, because I wouldn't put that past our government. But just having a lot of the inside information that I have, I could see it happening like it did, like they said it did. And then on to a lot of other things been going on. I tell you, it's just all these mass shootings, and of course now we had the shooting in Philadelphia where I believe 6 officers were shot by this thug with a gun. He wasn't even supposed to have one. And of course you've got the mainstream media and the liberal left screaming gun control, gun control, gun control, and that's just not going to happen. I mean, we're not going to give up our guns. There's no way I'm going to give up my way to protect myself when it's obvious they can't protect you. Or They can't even protect themselves. Then we have the stock market. I tell you, it took a big dip yesterday, and everybody knew that was going to happen. It has to correct itself. Is it a sign of things to come? Probably. I don't know I don't think it'll crash right now. I would be surprised if it did. I could see the left wanting to crash it to hurt Trump and hurt his chance at re-election. But Trump's got a lot of pull and a lot of power, and he can do a lot of things to keep it from crashing. It's going to crash. I believe if it does, it'll be after the 2020 election. I think they're just propping it up the best they can, trying to keep things going. And can you do it for another year and a half? Maybe. But it won't surprise me if it just goes down a little bit. I think it rebounded 100 points today. Not a lot, but it did rebound a little bit. Things will settle down, and it'll probably come back some. But I do think it's a sign of things to come. Maybe not in the near future, but very soon. And this is why we prep. It's why we prepare. And I guess my question to you is, what are you doing? What have you done today? What are you going to do tomorrow to get ready? A big thing for me was getting that greenhouse finished. I tell you, I've been wanting to build one for a long time. I finally just went ahead and did it. It didn't cost me that much, but it was well worth the time and effort I put into it. That's going to be a big thing to help me in my preps. You really need to have, obviously you need to have some kind of a water source and a way to purify it. But then you also need to have probably a year of food put away, at least. I've probably got a little more than that now. And I've got a way to renew my food. I've got a renewable source. I've got my garden, chickens, rabbits, things of that nature. I live out here in the country, so for as long as it lasts, I can hunt. And I've hunted my whole life, so I'm a pretty good hunter. I won't have a whole lot of problem getting meat like that. But to be quite honest, if it's not in the wintertime, a large amount of meat's not going to keep. You might build, maybe this time of year I'd shoot some small game or something that we could eat right then, but shoot anything like a deer or a bear or something like that, the meat's not going to keep unless you have a way to refrigerate and freeze it, which I do for the short term. But for a long term, ongoing total collapse, I don't know if anybody will actually be able to go that long, because even if you have solar power, those batteries, they only last so long. And I don't think it's something you can count on I wouldn't count on it for more than a year myself anyway. But so anyway, I just want to do this little video, kind of give you a little update about where I'm at, what I'm doing, ask you what you're doing, and ask you what you're going to do tomorrow. We all need to think about each other and think about where this country's headed. I don't believe it's going in the right direction at all. I don't believe Trump's going to lead us in the right direction in the long run. There's some little things he does in the short term that I agree with, but I don't agree with a whole lot that he does. And his rhetoric and things like that. It just, I think in the long run it's just going to cost us, the Democrats, liberals, they're even more determined now to get him out of office than they ever were. If you'll notice on Twitter, Facebook, and places like that, you look and see who's commenting and who's agreeing with these liberals and the left and the socialists. There's a lot of Muslims on there that are coming on and coming out against Trump, and and I mean, to me that's a pretty good sign. That's a good sign of whose side the left is on. I certainly don't believe it's on our side. But thank you for watching the video. Like and share, comment if you would. Let me know how you're doing, what you're doing. And remember, all gun laws are unconstitutional.